and welcome back to Libib's booktube channel. My name is Kaylin and welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking and gushing about my favorite books of 2018, and I'm sorry if I sound a little funny. It kind of sounds a little like nasally right now. I'm currently getting over being sick once again. So 2019 has been kicking off to such a great year. During my birthday, I ended up twisting my ankle, so going into the new year with a twisted ankle was not what I planned, and then I also got sick again, so that has been an absolute, like, not fun time. Hope everyone else's year is going great. Anywho, today I'm going to talk about the favorite books of 2018. I'm going to start off with my runner-ups, I would say, and then work my way from, but like my favorites to my #1 favorite of the year. The first runner-up for the year of 2018 is going to have to be Diary of the Wimpy Kid, The Meltdown by Jeff Kinney, and this was released in October of this past year, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I continued on reading the Diary of the Wimpy Kid series this past year because I haven't read them in forever, and I remembered that they were very funny and I enjoyed them, and once again I enjoyed them. But this one was like my favorite out of the series. This one I could really relate with because of snow and winter and growing up in that sort of atmosphere. I loved and enjoyed everything about this novel. The last half of the novel just had me cracking up, and it just, if you want a good laugh, definitely read Diary of the Wimpy Kid, The Meltdown. The last runner-up is going to have to be Sex Criminals by Matt Faction, and this was one of my first reads of the new year. This was in a time that I think I had just gotten my glasses and I could see and like feel and be in love with reading again. I thought it was like the most bizarre thing that I have ever read, but it was so unique and it was so different from everything that I've ever read before, and just diving into a comic, because I've never really been into comics, this just made my entire day. It was like the most weirdest, like coolest graphic novel ever. It's definitely like recommended for not children, I can say, but I absolutely loved it and enjoyed it. Okay, so coming in at #5 on my favorites list is going to have to be The Runaways, Find Your Way Home by Rowell and Kris. Incan. There's an original comic by Brian Vonnegut, Brian Von, I don't know. He originally created The Runaways, but Rowell brought it back and recreated it her own, in her own style, in her own format. And Runaways Find Your Way Home is just, our characters are getting all like bound back together and they're trying to reunite, and I found this comic book very enjoyable. I loved the characters. They were cute. I actually really loved and enjoyed the art. I liked the style and I really liked the vibrant colors, and I just overall really loved and enjoyed this. Coming in at #4, we have Sky in the Deep by Adrian Young, and this is kind of like a Viking era tale. And a lot of people say that this is a fantasy novel, but I can't get behind that it's a fantasy novel. It's more like an adventure novel, just because the synopsis is our main character, Elin, she's just fighting in battle one day, and all of a sudden she sees, wait, is that my brother? Like, she just is like, kind of follows after them, and that indeed is her brother. And her brother is thought to be dead for a couple years now, and he is actually fighting on the enemy side and he's still alive. And so it's kind of like this journey of them and her and everything else in between. I personally found it more of like an adventure novel where we're going on this giant adventure and just trying to do stuff, rather than fantasy. Like, there's some fantasy elements, but that's more like religious and like their beliefs in their clans. So I highly recommend this. Like 10 out of 10. If you're looking for a bomb-ass standalone, this is going to be it. It took me a while to read, but I absolutely loved every second of it. It was just like this one giant thrill ride at the end. Coming in at #3 was one of my favorite gushable, lovable, cute books of this year, and coming in at #3 is Fake Blood by Whitney Gardner. And once I read this book, I just could not stop thinking about how cute and adorable it was and how much I loved and enjoyed it, and I just couldn't get over this book. It was just so wonderful and it was just so perfect, and I still love and enjoy this book so much, and I just want to go back and reread it. I'm probably gonna go back and reread it every single fall from now on. This book, our main character is trying to impress his crush by becoming a vampire, and then turns out that she is actually a vampire hunter. So it's absolutely cute and adorable. The illustrations and the colors, I love how everything is just designed and how the characters are drawn up, and look how cute they are. Just, I love it so much. I like to thank Jesse from Jesse the Reader. I was watching his video one day and all of a sudden I was like, oh, this looks actually cute, and then like I looked at some of the images that were in the book and I fell in love with it, and I picked it up and I've been in love with it ever since. So I'd like to thank him for getting me hooked on this book, and I highly recommend it to anyone who wants to read a middle grade graphic novel. Coming in at number 2 was one of the books I read towards the end of the year that I just could not put down. It was the week of Black Friday, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse, because Kaylin went to the library and decided to pick up her first audiobook ever, and absolutely fell in love with one of my favorite books. And I remember being through that week, I could not put this book down. And I had Thanksgiving, and I read it at Thanksgiving, and then I had Black Friday and all that other stuff working in retail. It was like a hectic nightmare that weekend, but all I wanted to do was read Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and I just could not put it down for that entire weekend. This book is definitely really fun if you have the audiobook copy, because the audiobook is a full cast with sound effects. It is thebomb.com. I absolutely loved and enjoyed this. I loved all our characters. I loved where the plot was heading. I loved twists and turns. I absolutely fucking hate AI now. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want no Google Homes. I don't want no smart features in my house now, just because of like reading this book and thinking of all the things that are possible with like AI and robots and spaceships and space, and how I never want to go there now, because this book was absolutely mind-blowing and I loved it. It was one hell of a ride that I literally could not put down. I thought about it nonstop. If you love sci-fi, opera, books, this one is for you, because our main character is just trying to fight her way through and to survive, and then she's in love, and it's so great. And I loved how all the files and formats and the interesting layout of this book created just such an unforgettable experience. The time has come. My favorite book of 2018 is going to have to be The Merciless Last Rites by Daniel Vega. And while I rated it like a 4.5 out of 5 stars and whatever, it still holds a special place in my heart, because I mean, I did a whole entire reading vlog on it, so you can check that out as well, but this series has forever changed my life. It made me find a love in YA horror that I was not expecting. The reason why I love this book so much is that once you start reading it, you cannot put it down, because it's probably, I think the best time to read these books is like around 10 o'clock and throughout the entire night until you no longer feel scared to go to bed, or you just pass out because you're scared. I just loved how everything wrapped up nice and neat. I wish this series didn't end this year, because I definitely want more of it. I will forever want more of it, and it's just a wonderful, great series to read if you love YA horror. And it's just, the spooks is real. Like, the reason why I docked it like a half star was because of the pace. It did suck with like going back and forth between like points of view in it, but other than that, I absolutely loved and enjoyed this book, and it is one of my favorite reads of 2018 because it's just so unforgettable, and I will never forget how The Merciless completely changed my life, and this was a nice wrap up to that series. Anyways, that's gonna be it for my top books of 2018. Let me know in the comment section down below what your top books of 2018 were. And anyways, that is going to be it for this video. I'm gonna go make some tea. I'm currently reading another book. It is 2019, so I gotta work on that Goodreads goal, you know, and get ahead while I still can. And anyways, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next Thursday for a new bookish video.